Hello friends, welcome back to another session of Docker. In our previous session, we did learn that why we need storage and volume, and we have seen a scenario also where we have created one image. We have created this image and from this image we have created one container, and the logs of that container will be stored inside container directory structure only. But by intentionally or by accidentally or due to some reason, if we delete the container, we are not able to see the logs that is present into that container. And there is some scenario like we are not able to start the container also, so that we can take the backup of the log and we can do something, but that also sometime that chance also we don't have. So what we can do in that case? Is there any solution for that one? So we have to learn that one. So for that purpose we have to create a volume. Either we have to create volume or we have to use some operating system supported functionality that will do the replication of data generated by your application inside your container, that can be taken outside from the container. Whenever it is generating, it is taking a replica copy of a data. We have to do that one now. Okay, so let's quickly go to let's first see how many images are there. Docker images, images. So my web app, this is the image that we created in our last session, my web app 1.0. so from this image we have created a container, but we deleted that container, so because we have to see whether we can get the logs or not, but we cannot do that one because we have deleted the container now. So now next job is we have to see how we can take the log outside from the container. Okay, this is just while creating a container we have to specify some other parameters, so that it will use some volume, it will use some mount features, so that the data can be copied outside from the container also. Okay, so for that one we have three approaches. We have three approaches. This all we have seen: the directory structure, the use of each directory in Linux operating system. We will explore more about Linux in a later sessions, once we will finish our all the technologies, trending technologies one by one, and then we will learn Linux thoroughly. Currently you just keep in mind there are some directory structure in Linux. This root is the base directory structure of every directory in Linux. This is called a root backslash root. Under root, default library, your operating system default directories are there. These are directory structure: bin, boot, dev, etc, home, lib, media, mnt, opt, root, sbin, srv, temp, user, var. Under user var, bin include lib, sbn. Under var, cache, log, spool, and temp, like that. Even you can see pwd command will tell you what is your present working directory. In that one, if you use ls, it will list all the directories and files. Okay, so here also in the root directory, if I am applying ls, so you can see clearly bin, dev, lib, so many are there, all files are there. Okay, here we have given some description of that one. And what is your Docker installation? Where is your Docker installed? Docker will be installed at var lib docker. I think in our last session we tried to access the Docker directory that is residing inside varlib, but we were not able to do so. So yeah, we got that solution. Now I will show you that first. Okay, how we can access that directory, and then we did learn some of essential definitions of each folder, like inside a root directory. Okay. So what was the problem in that last container? If the host location is deleted, then data will not be able to and Docker cannot do anything on that one. Okay, or if you delete the container, if you delete the container, see, Docker use union file system, and all the data will be stored in a Docker file system only. If container is crashed, then whole data will be lost. This is the major problem if we are using Docker container, because Docker container is what you just see like this. Your computer is a one machine. Inside your computer you are creating a virtual machine, and that machine also has operating system, and that machine also has its own directory structure, networking, everything your machine has the same configuration. One more machine is there in your computer, that is a virtual machine, and all the platform and architecture and everything is same. You consider like that. So definitely whenever application is generating some file, some data, it will be generated into that virtual machine only. That virtual machine is equivalent to container only. In Docker we will call this as a container. So data will be stored in that only. If the container is crashed, then whole data will be lost. That was the problem we found in the last session. So solution is what is your solution in that? We need to store the data, sorry, it should be not that data, outside the container. Outside the container means on your host machine, wherever your Docker is running, or any other remote machine also you can use. If you have set up the cluster, we will see this in the networking session. Cluster we will set up. Then storage devices is used to manage the file system. So now you have to manage, the solution is what we have found. A solution, we have to take the backup, we have to store the data, not a backup, syncing. Whenever data is generated, both side it will store in container and as well as in your host machine, both. So this is the solution, but how it will do, that is the answer, that is the question now. Sorry. So so first thing you have to understand where it will store. To store that one, store drive is used to manage the file system. So we have to store in some file, in some drive or some memory. That memory, to store any data, use a file system. Suppose if you have if you clicked one image from your cell phone, where it will store the image, where it will be stored. First thing, who is creating that image? Your camera, your mobile phone camera. With the help of software, your camera is creating one image. So that is an data, that is a one file. Now that file has to store, so that later you can access that one, use that one wherever you want. So where it is storing? It is storing in your memory. Where is that memory? That memory is in your mobile phone. Okay, so to store that file, your mobile has to use some file system. Either if you are storing, you can store in mobile phone, you can store in laptop, you can store in a server like Google Drive or any other Apple cloud, wherever. If you store that image somewhere, that needs memory, and if you are going to store that file, then file system has to be used. So that file system depends on your operating system. Each operating system has its own file system. So because each operating system has a different file system, now Docker is built for Linux only, but they have released the version of Windows and Mac also, but it is best suitable for Linux only, because server side everyone is using Linux. Okay, so we will see this one only. You can try in Windows also, like Windows we have given here for Windows and Mac. For Windows, what is the file system name? NTFS or FAT. I think FAT they have used in Windows XP or before, I think, I'm not sure. NTFS I think they are using now, or maybe they are using FAT, I don't have much idea on that, but yeah, these two are the file system for Windows operating system. For Mac there is one only file system, that is APFS, Apple file system. But for Linux so many are there, ext, ext4, overlay. Now they have given one common file system, that is nothing but overlay 2. Any distributor, because Linux, why Linux has so many file system? Because so many distributor are there for Linux. If I show you, go to Linux. So go to your Linux. So this is your original Linux, like nothing but it's a kernel only. This is your kernel. By using this kernel, the companies are developing operating system, and that is called a Linux distributor operating system. If you go to download Linux, you will see n number of distributor. Total 24 popular Linux distributor are there. Number 1 they have given Ubuntu, then CentOS, Debian, Fedora, Slackware, Mint, Xubuntu, Arch, OpenSUSE, SUSE, Red Hat. So many are there. I think these are the new, I have seen the first time. Puppy, Zorin, so many. All are based on the Linux only. You can install any of the software, any of the operating system, any of the, see, L Ubuntu, new one, I think, Kali, that is, yeah, I seen this one before, K Ubuntu, L Ubuntu. Okay, we are using Linux, Ubuntu. Okay, so for these different operating system, every operating system might follow the file system given by the kernel, or might be they are developing on top of that one. So each one have its own file system. Now the Linux has made a common file system that is used by all the operating system. That is nothing but overlay 2. Okay, and this is the default in your in your operating system, and it is using Docker, also using this one only. Okay, so overlay supported by all Linux distributor. Okay, that's all. This is the directory structure that we have seen. Okay, yeah, we have given this distribution. So if the host location is deleted, then the data will be okay. Yeah, suppose you have taken the backup and you deleted the host directory, your Docker cannot do anything on that. Okay, that is different. We will see this one next. How can you see whether which one is the directory file system is using storage driver? So you have to type docker info, so it will tell what is the supported file system. Storage driver, what is your storage driver? File system is, see, if I say you have to make a connection to MySQL database using JDBC, what you have to do? You need a driver. The driver is nothing but a library that will enable you to connect with the MySQL database. If you have to use Oracle, then you have to use Oracle driver. Similarly, if you have to use a Linux file system, then to do that one you need some storage driver. So that storage driver is nothing but overlay 2. In case of Ubuntu, in case of Linux, it is overlay 2. In case of Windows, it is a NTFS or FAT. If in case of Mac, it is a APFS. Okay, that's it. So so we have seen using Docker info. So this is the server version also you can see here. See, server version 22.0.5. okay, How many containers are there? One container is there. How many running? How many paused? How many stopped? All it is telling. How many images are there? So many details it is giving. Docker info is giving all information regarding to your Docker. Okay, fine. And this is your driver storage driver overlay 2. Fine. Clear it. Next, so the very first solution, this is not the best solution. Again, this is a temporary file storage, and if you see, destination is my test logs. So where it will store, this is not storing in your host machine. Again, it is storing in a temporary file in the container only. Alright, so first we will do temp fs, but in the temp fs we are not also not able to take the sync or take the replica of the data. Okay, but anyway, we will create this type of container and we will see once. I will explore this commands clearly with you. First time, let me copy paste here at the notepad. So here this is same docker container run. So run command is doing both operation. It is creating the container and starting the container also. D stands for detached mode. We don't want to see the startup process of the container in the foreground. We are telling just let that container start in background mode. So for that purpose, this is a detached mode. P, we are mapping the server port and container port, and the name we are giving my c1. The name we are giving a container my container c1. Mount, now this mount is important here. Now mount has a 3 types. If you see in our file, 3 types of mount are there: temp fs, bind and volume. Volume is controlled by your Docker, bind mount is controlled by your operating system, and temp fs is controlled by your container only, and the data will be residing inside container only. Again, you cannot get the data outside, but the purpose is that you can configure manually. That's it. Okay, fine. The data will be at my test logs. That's it. Destination is what? Now what is destination here? So mount, the first is mount type. You are telling the type. Currently which type we are doing? Temp fs. So this is a temp fs. Okay, destination, where you want to store the data, that is my test logs. Under my test logs data will be, and my web app 1.0 is the image name. From that one you want to create. Now let's create this container and see. Anyway, this image, my web app 1.0 image is there. So container is created in background and it is running in the it's running. You can see here. You want to enter into that container. How can you do it? Can you do it? Okay, so enter into this running container. How will you do? Docker container exec. IT stands for interactive mode with which one? This container, and bin bash. So we came into this one, and now if you see here, what is the present working directory? Root directory ls. Under ls my test logs is there. The destination, whatever we have specified, my test logs, it is there. Okay, go to my test logs. Now copy, okay, cd my test logs, and now ls. There is nothing because this is a temp, it will not show here, it will not show here. The logs and data will be stored in your primary memory, not in the secondary memory. It will not show here, just temporary directory structure it is using. Okay, so this is only, you cannot see that logs and anything, but you can, if you want to access localhost, localhost 5050, is it that one, or 4040, what is the port that you are mapping? Port you are mapping 4040. okay, so go to 4040 and yes, it is there. Okay, fine, this is working. So this is only the tempfs. But you are not able to take the data replication in your host machine, you are not able to do so here. For that one, either we have to use bind, mount, or docker volume. You have to do any of them. So docker volume is controlled by your docker only. Volumes is controlled by your docker only, but bind, mount is not controlled by your docker. Bind, mount is controlled by your operating system. So first we will see the bind, mount. So copy this one, you have to create the container. See, this is regarding container only, this is not related to image. You cannot do anything in image is just image. From that image you can create the container. While creating the container, you can specify the configuration for mount, what type of mount you want to use. Okay, so copy this one, I am taking this in notepad again. I will explore the each one of the section of this command. Each one we will see. So docker container run d detached mode, this is the port, and name is my c1. Either we should use c2 because c1 is already there in and it is running. If you see here, exit from here, and if you see c1 container is already up for 4 minutes, it is already up. Okay, so I am giving the container name as a c2. Now mount type, now this time mount type is not tempfs, mount type is bind, and that is controlled by operating system. So definitely you must have operating system directory where you want to take the replica of the take the data to host machine from the container. You have to tell that one. For that purpose, source and destination both are there. What is source and what is destination? And one more thing, you should give this as it is. You should not give after this bind, after this comma you give space, it will not work. Okay, or this is okay. Source you can give full name, source, source, you can give this also. We will try this one. First we will try this one, then we will see the full we will pass the full name. Similar to destination, we are passing here I am passing dst, short name, but it is also fine. If you give the full, it will work. Source also, if you give the full, it will work. We'll see this later. This is image. So the entire command, I think you can understand very clearly. Docker, you are telling to docker create a container and run the container in detached mode with, and port mapping you do this one because this container has one server that is running on 5050. So map that port to 4040. Give the name to container my c2, container my container 2. Mount type, this time you use bind, don't use tempfs. Because tempfs you cannot take the replica of the data. So use bind this time. So if you are using bind, then you have to tell what is the source. Source means where you want to store the data in your host machine. What is host machine? Host machine is your physical computer, your laptop, your system. In that you are installing Docker. So you can say in simple word, a machine on that a machine on that a Docker is installed, called host machine for the Docker. So similarly, currently our computer is host machine for the Docker, because in this machine only I have installed the Docker. Suppose in your laptop you have installed Docker, so your machine will be Docker host machine. Okay, so I want to take the data from container to host machine. So I have to use either bind mount or volume mount. Volume mount is controlled by Docker, but bind mount is controlled by operating system. We have to see this one. We will see this now. Okay, fine. So source, what is okay, mount type is bind, that is okay. Now what is source? Source is the location of host machine. The location of host machine is your source, and destination is the location of container machine directory. Source, keep in mind always, so here source is the destination, source is the location of Docker host machine. Source is the, if you see here, what is src, or you can say it source CSU. Source is the, it is the location of Docker host machine to store the container data. Simple. And what is destination? DST, that is nothing but destination, and it is the location of Docker container machine where the data is stored. Fine. I think you don't have any confusion in that one. Mount defines the type of a mount. Mount defines the type of a mount. Simple. Okay, type of mount can be volume or tempfs, like tempfs, or bind, or volume. Okay, that can be tempfs, bind, or volume. Okay, fine. Source is this one, destination is this one, and this is image name. This is fine. Now tell me, destination is already created by your application. You no need to worry about this one. My logs, my web app, it will automatically create, because in our application, if you see, we are storing log at location my logs. Under my logs we are creating my web app. Under my web app it is automatically creating the log files, and it is doing. So we no need to worry about the destination. Automatically it will create. Your application and your container will create. We have to create source only. So go to home, tech hub. Under tech hub I want to create app log. So come here, yeah, this one only. this one only. If you open terminal here and if you see present working directory, so what it is present working directory, this is home tech hub root. At the root there is a home, and under home tech hub is there, so you can see here, here home tech hub. Under tech hub I want to create this one, that's it. Copy this. I have to create one folder here, or you can say that one directory here. So create new folder, simple, that's it. So in this one I will take the backup of the files, that's it. Okay. Now if you see here ls, type ls, so how many are there? All are there. See, desktop, download, music, public, template, workspace, apps, documents, eclipse, picture, snap, video, app logs is there. So this app logs it will use. Okay, fine. Close it. So let's go and create the container now. So container 2 will be there now. Copy and paste it here. Yes, field external connectivity C2 port is R. Okay. Oh, can you tell me what is the problem? Because the port we have used 4040 is already in running state. One more container is there. If you see here, this container is there already. My C1 container is already there, that is up for 12 minutes, and this also using the mapping port 4040. You cannot do that one. Respond from daemon, driver failed programming external connectivity on entry point my C2, port is already allocated. 4040 port is already allocated. Okay, so what you can do, even this container is created. So first go and delete this container, because we cannot use this container because this container has a port 4040, but for 4040 my C1 container is already created. So delete this one, docker container remove, give the container ID, it's removed, and now you see there is only one, it is running. So what I will do, I will go and change the port. Make the port 4041 instead of 404, make it 41, that's it. And now do copy it and create it. Yes, now this time there is no error, fine. So if you go and see the directory, if you open the app log, something is there. Yes, it's there. My web app log is there. We have not created this file, but this file is present, my web app.logs. In this one, now if you go and see, enter into this container. First time is clearing docker container exec interactive mode, and then give the container ID. Sorry, no, we have to see the log containers. This is the container ID, I think 4041. Yes, this one. So this is the container ID. Copy this and docker container exec interactive mode to this container in bin bash. Okay. Now here present working directory is your root, ls. Under ls, if you see my logs is there. Okay, go to my logs. Under my logs, if you list, there is a my web app is there. So go to my web app and if you see here ls, there is a one log file. See that log file content, see the content of this log file. So this is the content of the log file. Starting, it is starting your container, then it is Tomcat is initializing with the 505 port, and it is Tomcat is started. Now your application web container is up. Okay, so this is the contents of this file, and the same contents are available under this file also. How can you see? I think you can open in the notepad. Anyway, this is okay. You can see same only, same content. What if I will hit the request localhost 4041. This time it is a 4041 because 4040 is using mount type as a tempfs. You cannot see that logs there. Okay, now this is a mount type is bind. So in this case the data is syncing to host machine directory. Okay, so enter, press enter. Now what it should be, if you open this one and if you see the again logs, so it is telling after this one, after this statement, started my web app in 905 seconds, process id, this one, it is initializing the dispatcher servlet, then it is completing the initialization, then welcome and showing index page. This is the extra data that is added in log file by your container application. Same should be present in this one also. So it is telling here this file has been changed outside the notepad ++, notepad QQ. It is modified. Who modified this one? Docker container. Whenever the Docker container generate data, the data has to sync to host machine also. So it is syncing that one. Reload it. When you reload it, it is there. Now go to another page. Show another page. This time also it should generate some other here. After showing index, it should print hello. Welcome. Then showing another page. See that one. It's there or not? Yes, it's there. Yes, it's there. Showing another page. And same should be sync here also. So it is telling again this file has been changed outside the notepad. Reload it and you can see here. So in this way you can sync. Now we come out from that the problem whatever we were facing in our last session, because whenever we will destroy the container or container crashed due to some reason, some problem came, you are not able to get the logs of the container. Now you can get the logs of the container. Not even the log, whatever the data that is generated by your container inside container directory structure, you want to take that outside, and that is the best practice always. For that purpose we have to use volume. Okay, that's it. So this is come out from this one, exit. Okay, clear it. Let it be running these two containers, or you want to stop that one. Let me stop these two containers, not required. Okay, or else what I will do, I will remove. I will docker dot container remove this both container forcefully because both are running. Remove this both container, copy, paste, and copy and paste. Both are removed. Now application is not up. You can see here. But whether the data is deleted? No, file is there. Open here and see, file is there. See, in app log, file is there. Okay, anyway the container is deleted, the no data in that container, nothing is there, container itself is not there, but still the data is there. Okay, fine. So this is the second type called bind mount. Tempfs mount we have seen, bind mounts we also have seen. Third one is volume that is controlled by Docker. You no need to create anything, just you need to create a volume and you have to tell the volumes, that's it, use this volume, that's it, automatically it will do. So what it will do, see, so why you no need to create the directory, tell me one thing. Alright, so volumes is controlled by Docker itself. How Docker is controlling that one? We will see this one. First we will see the directory structure of Docker first, where the Docker is installed. Docker is installed in var lib docker. Okay, in the last session also we have tried to access the Docker root directory. Clear it once, and if you see present working directory cd dot, okay, clear it, and the present working directory is root, then cd dot var, then cd dot bin. Under lib, sorry, not a bin, lib. Under lib, if you see, Docker is there. If you try to enter, it is saying permission denied, you cannot do that one. You have to access this as a root user, then only you can do. So how can you do it? Very easy, super user do dot shoe, that's it, copy. So now you will be treated as a super user. Okay, you have to give your password. Yes, now now you are at a super user. You can see here, before it was here, username was tech hub, you see tech hub at the rate this machine, but now you are at root at this machine. Okay, now this is your present working directory root, come back, and if you see, this is your present working directory, then cd dot var. I'm typing all instead of typing every time, lib. So we are at a lib. Now if you list here, there is a Docker. Now you can directly enter into Docker. Now you are at a Docker list. So you can see here containers, image, network, overlay 2, plugin, runtime, swarm, temp, volume, all are there. Fine. You can access. So clear it, cl clear, and ls, fine. Okay, I think I can need a new window. Okay, this is a new window. Okay, clear it. I'm opening new window because we have to see, that's why. Okay, so the very first thing, we have to use volume. Now we have already seen how we can use bind mount and temp fs mount. Now we have to use volume mount. So before to use volume mount, you need to create the volume. So very simple commands. How can you create the volume? How can you list the volume? How can you remove the volumes? Very simple. Docker volume, then you have to give create command. Docker volume create, you have to give volume name. So Docker volume create volume name, it will create the volume. Docker volume ls or list will show how many volumes are there. Docker volume rm volume name, to remove the volumes, how many volumes are there if you want to remove. So first I will create a volume. Copy and create the volume. This is another one, this one. Create a volume. So Docker create volume like my wall 1, simple, my wall 1. Volume is created. How many volumes are there? Volume ls, total 2 volumes are there. One is my app logs, another one is my web. You can remove. So how will you remove? My docker volume rm and remove this name, give the name of volume, both I am removing. Okay, copy paste, and another one is my vol 1, copy paste. So both volumes are removed. Now if you see the list, there is no volume, and if you use the list full name list, same. Okay, here are two two attributes are there for volume. You can see volume name and driver. Driver means what? Where this volume is created. This volume is created in our local host currently, so that's why driver is local. If you are creating in a cluster environment, then some IP address or some other machine reference will be here. Okay, that's it. Currently we will just see in our local. In upcoming sessions we will see when we will use network. Okay, so currently there is no volume. I will create this one, my app logs volume. Okay, docker volume create my app logs. So one volume is there, list the volume, one volume is there, that is in local. Driver is a local and name is my app log. So volume is created. Now where is this volume? Where this volume is created? See, if you see our docker directory structure, in our docker containers is there. In that one, how many containers are there currently? 3 or 2? How many? How will you see? Enter into this container, cd dot containers, and if you ls, you can see here currently there is one container. I think we have removed all the containers. Let me see how many containers are there. How many containers are there? Docker psa. Yes, there is only one container. There is only one container, Oracle DB. That's it. So that's why this is again a directory structure. In this one, in this directory, actually this is a container ID. This is a container ID. The container ID is nothing but here a directory. In this one, this container is there. Okay. So similarly, if you come back, there is an image folder. There is an image folder. In this image, how many images are there currently? I think 2 images are there. Go to image and ls. Overlay 2. Okay, directory structure. Go to overlay 2, cd and under overlay 2 distribution, image db, player db, repository jsons. Okay, some other directory structure, image db. So go to cd dot image db and ls container. Okay, this is the directory structure. You just overall you understand under images, under image, the images will be stored, similar to containers. And if you see here, volume is also there. So in this one, volumes will be there. Okay, come back. Let's or else you can do one thing. You by your own you can explore by your own. Distribution. What is there in distribution? Okay, some other. Okay, so like that you go and explore where exactly. Okay, here is overlay 2. Come back, ls. Okay. So containers will contain all the containers, images will contain all the images, but directory structure they have given something different. Okay, but images are there in this one only. Next is volumes. Now go to volumes. How many volumes are there? How many volumes are there? Currently there is only one volume that we created. This is something different. This is some other another metadata, some other files. Our image is my app log. Sorry, our volume is my app logs. And go to my app logs, cd dot my app logs, ls. Under this one, data. Go to data. So if you see in this data, the data of the container will stored. under this one your data will be stored from container. Currently this directory is where lib docker volume my apps. Where it is? Where is this location? This is your host machine. This is your docker host machine location. You can see this is your docker host machine location. This is not a container location. So far we have not started any container and we are not going into that container directory. This is not container directory. This is your local machine directory where lib docker volume my app logs data. My app log data will be there. Understand? Okay. So this directory will by default used if you use my app logs volume. If you use this volume, if you use my app logs volume, by default your container data will be stored into this directory where lib docker volumes my app logs. Under my app logs data, the data will be stored. So let's go and create one container. Let's go and create one container and see whether the data will be there or not. Currently if you see here ls, there is no file, nothing is there. Okay, so let's go and create the container first. Okay, so this is fine. This we have seen this one. So docker volume create my app logs, we created that one. Then we have to create the container. Okay, so I am writing here docker container run d detached mode. This time we can use this one because other container we have deleted. Port mapping we can use this one, no issue. My container c1 also we can use because this other containers we have deleted. Now mount you should not use, directly use volume. That's it. Volume, you have to tell the volume, this is my volume, and this volume has to be mapped with my app logs dot my web app, because at this location only in container, this is container location, my logs, under my logs my web app, this is the location. In our last example also we have seen in this one if you see, destination is what? My logs, my web app. This is your location where the data of your container application is stored. So that is the mapping happening here. My logs, this is the volume name, my app logs is the volume name. This volume has to map to this one, and this is the image. That's it. Go and create, copy this and paste it. So one container is created and it is up and running. If you see here, it's up and running. So first thing I will see, okay, first I enter into the container cd docker container exec it container id, this is the container id, and bin bash, entered. Now present working directory is root. Under root, if you have to go to ls first, my logs is there. Yes, my logs is there. And what we have mapped? We have mapped my logs my web app. So what is there in my log my web app? So cd my logs, not logs, I think, oh sorry, logs, my logs. Under my logs my web app, so cd my web app. Under my web app, if you ls, there is a my web app log file is there. So this file has to be created inside your host machine also. Go to your host machine and see, just ls here. So my web app log is there. And if you want to see the content of this one, how can you see? Very simple, you can see here, see, same log. First it is starting the application, then it's initializing the Tomcat 5050 port number, then initialization embedded Tomcat and welcome page, resource index, everything, and this Tomcat is started on port number 5050. That's it. So this is the data. And what is the data in container? What is the data in container in this file? Same data will be there, same data. Okay, now go and check in browser. So now the file of the container file, log file is modified because the new logs is generated in that one, new data is generated in the log file. Go and check. First we'll check in the container side. So at the container side, what happened? This is container side. Yeah, this is this is container side. Clear it first. This is container side. My logs, my web app. This is the container side. Okay, I think why it is happening. Can you tell me? Even if it is not there, then definitely it will not be there in this file also. Can you tell me what could be the reason? Clear it. Can you tell me what could be the reason why it is not modifying the log file? Because it is taking from the cache. You have to use control plus F5 so that it will not take from the cache. Okay, that is the problem with this. Now you see both side. Now it is initialized. These many extra statement is added. First it is trying to initialize the dispatcher servlet. Initialization dispatcher servlet is completed in 7 seconds. Then it is coming to the welcome controller home. It's coming to controller. In that controller we are logging welcome and showing index page. Same should be available for container also. This is your container. Yes, this is your container. So this is container side, this is fine, and this is your host machine side. Both for both side data are syncing, replicating. Okay, yeah, try once more again, another. Okay, so it should come another here. Okay, again it is taking from the cache, so control F5. Okay, and now check. Yes, showing another coming here, and here also showing another. That's it. So in this way we can create we can use volume. Bind mount also you can use, but the directory structure you have to create. Wherever you want to store the application or container application data, you have to create the directory in your operating system, and that operating system directory you have to specify as a source. But in case of volume, you don't need to create anything, because automatically it is creating. Whenever you are creating volume, it is creating the directory structure according to this one. Under where lib docker volume, under volume your volume will be there, and inside this volume underscore data folder will be there, and under the data your data of the application will be placed. That's it. Yes, but what is the problem with bind mount? This is the problem that I am telling. If the host location is deleted, then data will not be available, and Docker can't do anything, because if you see here, this is our file, this is our directory. I can delete, no? I can delete. Yes, see, I have deleted. Now your Docker can do anything on that? No, it cannot do anything, because this is your control only. You can delete this directory at any time, but in case of volume you cannot do so. You cannot delete that directory. You can delete this volume by Docker, with the help of Docker only. Manually you cannot do that one. That's why this is controlled by Docker, and this should be always used. Other than bind also you can use, this is up to your choice, but it is better to use volume. Fine. So this is all about the Docker storage and volume. And one more thing that I think we have to check once again. This is currently then the name here you are using src and dst. Can you use full name? Can you use full name? You have to check. But I have deleted this app logs directory. Let me copy again, create again, create it here. Okay, and what I will do, instead of destination dest, I will give full name destination, and inside of source I will give sourc, source full. And let's see whether we are able to create with this one also or not. Okay, now what is this? Exit from here. Okay, clear it. And okay, 2 containers are there, one more I am going to create and doing. So it is doing. You can either you can use full name, source, destination, or you can use short. It's up to your choice. And if you open this directory, you can see logs are there, automatically it is coming. You can see here container is up, and whenever you are running it will come. Okay, that's it. So this is all about in this session. In the next session we will see how we can create a Docker Hub account and we can push our images to Docker Hub. Similarly, Ubuntu we are pulling from the Docker Hub directly. So Docker Hub, we can our images also we can push to Docker Hub. We will see that in our next session. So I hope you like this session. Please subscribe my channel, and we will see you in the next session. Till that, bye bye and have a nice day.